I rolled over to the side and came face to face with a rattlesnake.
So we're here today at the Carolina Racers Historical Society's Grassroots Racers Reunion. That is one heck of a mouthful, but this is actually a super awesome event because there's a lot of old school racers, and I am here for one purpose today, and that is to ask them one question. What is the craziest racing story you have? So this is such a super cool event because there is racers from all disciplines here, and you can see there's a lot of old cars here. Just super cool to see. But there's also a lot of drivers, so let's go meet some and figure out what is their craziest racing story.
It's probably when we run over Tommy Cash's brother at Shelby Fairgrounds in his bus. They give us the green flag to start the race, and they was gonna let him come in by the time we got around, but his bus got hung up getting in the fourth turn. And we come around, and all I could see was everybody wrecking in a big Greyhound and Tommy Cash rode on.
At the end of the race, I can't remember now, she finished the top five, I think it's third or whatever, and they weighed the car with the driver in it. So we went across the scales and we were light. But in the rule book, it said you could add pulleys back to it, you know what I'm saying? That meant you could fill it back, you know, if it's light, you could add the guys back to it or whatever, you know. So we filled it up full of guys, kept adding, never could make it. I put 32 quarts of motor oil in it. 32 quarts of motor oil in. We messed around and finally made the weight on the thing. We put just every bit of anything we could put as a fluid, transmission, rear end, and wall. And we finally made the weight on it. But that's about the craziest thing we've ever done. I can go into a lot more detail on some more crazy stuff. I know that's a funny thing, put 32 quarts of motor oil in. Went back home, took the spark plugs out of it, more and more everywhere.
I got drugged down pit road at the end of a garden hose out in College Station, Texas. We'd come in under a caution, or without a caution. While we were in there making a change to the motor, the caution flag come out. So we put the hood down, and the driver had the water hose stuck in inside the car to cool himself off. It was very hot. And he went to throw that water hose out, and it caught on the window net. And it was connected to a pressurized water tank. And when I saw that it had been caught to his window net, I reached over our water tank to turn the valve off. And by then he drove off, stretched the hose, and it broke the valve, and the valve caught my belt, drew me over pit wall, and drug me 30, 40 feet down the racetrack. And then I rolled over to the side and came face to face with a rattlesnake. They'd had a rattlesnake roundup. Of course, I jumped up real quick. The snake was dead, but I didn't know that. But I was so tore up, and we were short of help. The West Coast runs, the drivers would only bring one or two guys, and they'd combine the guys to have enough to pit the car, so we'd pit 3 cars. So we didn't have any extra people, so we just taped my clothes sort of back on, and I finished the race, and we got done with the race. As miserable as I've ever been was trying to peel that racer tape off them raw meat spots on my arm.
I guess me and Herman Mooney had some of the best, and Ben and Klons. Herman spun me out. I was on the outside pole, and Herman run into me and spun me out the first corner. I had to go to the rear, and about the middle ways to the race, I caught Herman and spun him out. And after the race was over with, I was walking through the pits, and he come over and shake my hand. He said, "Boy," he said, "I'm glad you spun me out." I said, "I figured you was mad at me, Herman." He said, "No." He said, "If you hadn't spun me out, I'd have been mad because I got you first."
One story, Raleigh Fairgrounds. I'm driving for Herman Brower. I drove about 3 years for him. And car ran good, and they had a caution, but you could see onto the front stretch. I seen the caution waving, see cars slowed down, got in the middle of the track, and had my hand up and got hit probably 10 or 15 seconds after the caution. And what happened, I don't know, but it sent me into the guardrail, sent me airborne. Some of them said there's guy wires up and went over that. But anyway, It went down on a bank, but didn't touch the bank. Went over a fence, went over a 10-foot drive, another 10-foot fence. First row parked cars where it hit the ground. And I wasn't even hurt. The car was wadded up to a little ball.